Welcome back. We are at Lake Powell and we are in the middle of a windstorm. Every year we come here in August and it's monsoon season and we get these storms. This wind is just whipping. I don't know, you probably can hear it through the microphone, but one of the biggest things with these storms is securing your houseboat and your boats well. And we've been doing this for a while, so I'm going to walk you through how we set up our ropes to help support and hold this houseboat that's like 75 feet long from blowing sideways. Now, if the windstorm gets bad enough, it doesn't matter what you've done. Sometimes crap goes wrong. This is just what we do, and it seems to have worked for us over the past few years. We are down here at Lake Powell getting the houseboat all hooked up. One of the most important things is setting your anchors. So I'm going to show you how we've done it for the past 10 years. That's worked for us. I know there's lots of different ways to do this, but this is how we do it. I'm going to walk you through how we set up this knot to hold this 75-foot houseboat. It's really not that hard, and it's worked for us for 10 plus years. So if you do it a different way, comment below how you guys do it. There's lots of different ways that people do it. There's even these new water sacks that I've seen people using. So I'm just going to go ahead and undo this and walk you back through it. Now, one of the things with this, and as I undo it, I'll show you. By tying the knot this way, doesn't matter how tight this gets, it never gets so knotted that you can't undo your ropes. And when you have this much weight pulling on these ropes, you want a knot that you can undo at the end of the trip, not just a knot that holds for the whole trip and then you can't get it undone. The worst of it is you have lots of extra line to deal with the whole time, so it can get to be kind of a mess. To start us out, about halfway in from the boat, we've tied a bow line. This knot, great, climbers use it, linemen pulling wire, all sorts of stuff. It doesn't matter how much you pull, this thing's not going to come undone. So we take our rope, we run it down through our anchor, back to here, and then we can use that to tighten as much as possible on this rope. When you're first getting set, it might take a few of you. Pretty easy for me to just tighten it back to what it was. Then I take my pinch and I just start working my way around, and almost like a fisherman's knot, just really tight circles or rings around this. Now by doing this, it's going to pull against it and tighten and keep itself from coming loose. So everything's just kind of holding itself together. So just these really tight rings. And of course you have all this extra rope that you have to deal with, but just part of the gig. What really sucks is when you get a little thorn in the rope and you're running your hand along it, then it really digs in. And a lot of times when you're doing this, you'll have multiple people, so you can have somebody tossing this rope around as you go. Saves you a little bit of time and hassle rather than doing it all yourself. I like to get probably about 10 loops around. It seems to work pretty good. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 10. Let's get one more just for good measure. Okay. Alright. So now I have these 10 rings holding. So as much as this houseboat pulls, it's going to hold itself. Then I'm just going to take a good bit of this rope and kind of do a series of half hitches and loops to keep it from pulling apart. And it's starting to rain on us, so Fitch around. Then when you get to your final little loop here, so you have this little bit of a loop left, that's where you take the end of the rope, if I can find it here, and pull it through. So that way this cannot be pulled undone. So it doesn't matter how hard this pulls, it's not going to be able to come undone there. Then we can use the rest of this rope for tying up kayaks or out to the boat or whatever we decide to do, or just tuck it down underneath. As you start out, make sure you get some nice deep holes to put your anchors in. This hole here is about a foot to 18 inches deep. I'd say go about double that. The deeper you can get your anchors, the better off you are. Now the anchors are self-digging, but if you can get them wedged down in there, pound them with a sledgehammer, really makes a difference. Digging in the sand seems like it fills in about half of what you scoop out each time, but just a little bit of patience. Get deep enough, it'll stop caving in as bad. If you can have a few people helping you with this, it makes the job so much easier as well. So as you can see here, just spun around. Dug in nice. Now just trying to bury them, and hopefully they'll hold. Then after putting in the anchors, make sure you pound them in, bury them really well, stomp on them, put some water on them. Anything to put as much weight as possible on those anchors. If you can do this right the first time, save you a lot of effort through your trip. Eyes full of sand. Oh.
"12 seconds later."
Don't know if you can see the big white houseboat right there, was just turned sideways, smashing in to that nautique right there. Their anchor's pulled up. This is crazy. This is how we've been doing it for a while. I don't know, 10, 15 years now, right?
Yeah, as long as we've really been on the houseboat.
Yeah, and it seemed to have worked for us. Now, after I've said this, some storm will probably come up and all this will fail. And so, you know, that's our luck. But if you're out on Lake Powell wondering how to tie on your houseboat, this is how we do it. There's lots of different ways. Just make sure you aren't those guys that are drilling holes in the rocks and bolting to the rocks. That's kind of a big no-no. As always, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all those sort of things, and enjoy your weekend. We're out here securing stuff on the beach. Paddle boards, kayaks, buckets, chairs, all sorts of stuff. Sticker in my foot. Throwing a little bit of dirt on these does pretty dang good. If you notice right here, these lines are slacked off into the water because the wind is pushing so hard on that other side.